Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Mark Causey here from Black Cat Comics in Rockin' Milpitas. Every Wednesday is New Comic Day, and I like to give you some great reasons to go to black-cat-comics.com and pick up something fun to read. It's a pretty small week, but it's packed with stuff that's fun to read. Gonna start with the Marvel guys. Gonna start with Planet-Sized X-Men. Giant-Sized X-Men is one of the most famous comics of all time, certainly one of the most famous modern comics of all time. So following in that vein, what's bigger than giant size? Planet size. This is one of your many Hellfire Gala issues going on right now. Been talking up these X-books for a long time. There's always a lot going on in the X-books, but you can also always just sort of jump in, hit the ground running. This big one-shot would be a great place to start if you're not following any of the X stuff. That will send you into cool books like New Mutants. Of course, there's X-Men and X-Force and Marauders and all kinds of X stuff to jump into. As I've been saying, different creative teams, different characters, all kinds of different stuff going on in each book. You don't have to follow every book to get the gist. Just check out some different ones. Find the one that's got the writer, the artist, the characters that you like, and keep rolling with that one. Maybe it's New Mutants. Maybe it's X-Corp. Or maybe, if you want to skip all that Gala stuff, pick up Demon Days Mariko from the big Stormbreaker artist Peach Momoko that everybody's crazy about these days. There was a Demon Days X-Men, and this is the second one-shot from that. Like I say, always a fun time to check out X-books. Heroes Reborn number 7. Wraps up the big event going on with the core book and all of the spin-offs that have been rolling out the last few weeks. It's been weekly, so if you've been away for a little while, you got a little catching up to do. It's going to turn into Heroes Return either next week or the week after. This book's been really fun, and the side books have been really fun too. I know event fatigue is a thing, but if you got a little extra time or a little room in your budget, check out some Heroes Reborn. Grab that first issue and see if it doesn't make you want to read all the way to number 7. This big old beast, this giant-sized Venom number 200. The last issue from the legendary Donny Cates run. Everybody's been nuts about Venom the last couple of years. Been one of the most popular books Marvel has. This giant book is $10. There's all kinds of different covers. Like I say, it's the last issue of the run. If you haven't been following it, this isn't the one to jump into. But if you have been following the run, well, you're getting a little teary-eyed because that's the end of the run. Very, very cool book. And Miles Morales, number 27. It's your other Spider book of the week. That continues the Miles Morales clone saga that started back in 25. This book doesn't need a whole lot of help from me. It's already on your list and in your box. Fantastic Four, number 33, one of my all-time favorite titles. One of the many Marvel books I've been talking up like crazy because it's just got this classic feel, just a little bit of what you've always loved about the book, mixed in with some new, fun, and exciting characters and plot twists and all that kind of thing. This is part 2 of The Wedding of Doom. You can read more about it in our newsletter. Can't say enough about Fantastic Four. This issue particularly was just incredibly awesome. If you've been away from the FF for a while, now's a great time to come back. If you've never checked out the Fantastic Four, grab this week's issue and you'll understand why people like me are dying to see the FF get wrapped back into the MCU, because us old schoolers love the Fantastic Four. Captain America gets an annual this week. I'm always talking up the annuals. I know some of you guys skip the specials and the one-shots, but I like annuals. I like self-contained, double-sized issues. I like one-shots. I like to encourage folks to check out annuals because if you're not following the main book, it's a great opportunity to just check out a one-shot and see what makes that character interesting. But if you're like me, you love those, like, say, big double-sized, self-contained one-shots. Mighty Valkyries has Loki on the cover. Everybody's loving Loki these days. If you're like me and you're dying for the next episode, which is tonight, actually, so that's super awesome. Pick up Mighty Valkyries with little Loki. Check out the second episode of Loki tonight when you get done with your comics. Good stuff. Star Wars number 14 continues the War of the Bounty Hunters stuff. Been talking up Star Wars from the very beginning, and this one has Lando on the cover. No one cooler in Star Wars than Lando Calrissian. Always be yourself, but if you can be Lando, be Lando. And Alien number 4 is the other big sci-fi franchise that Marvel's rolling out these days. Everybody loves some Alien. Always a good time to be a sci-fi fan in comics. Real small week for the DC guys, but as I said at the top, great books to talk about. Legends of the Dark Knight number 2 skyrocketed to the top of my reading list with the first issue because the art was freakishly amazing. And I love a book that has multiple classic Bat villains. There's one of the most classic right there on the cover. Pick up the first issue, grab this week's second issue. Like I say, the story's awesome. The art will blow your mind. Batman Fortnite number 5 is your other Bat book of the week. This one doesn't need a whole lot of help from me. The one in my hand is probably already sold out, so let's just keep moving on. Nightwing, another book I've been talking up like crazy. This is almost certainly going to be book of the week. Everybody's been talking up Nightwing for a little bit. If for some reason you haven't taken my word for it, pick up number 78 if you can find one. Pick up 78, 79, 80. Grab this week's 81. Nightwing is climbing a lot of people's rosters as one of the hotter books that DC does. Catwoman number 32. Another one of my favorite Bat books. Been talking up Nightwing and Catwoman like crazy. Catwoman's always been one of my favorite DC characters. And this book, this title is as good a run as Catwoman's seen. Great stories, great art, cool Gotham City underworld stuff going on. Again, if you've been away from Catwoman, now's the time to come back. If you've never checked out Catwoman, you should pick this up and see why she's one of the many villains that deserves her own title. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is your Tom King book of the week. You know we love us some Tom King around here. You should be reading Strange Adventures and Rorschach. You should be reading Batman Catwoman. You should have read Mr. Miracle last year or the year before, whatever it was, because that was the book of the year. And now it's his turn to take on Supergirl, which is really cool. Just a mini-series, so it's a little non-committal. If you love Tom King like we do, you want to check that out. Superman, red, white, and blue. Or just red and blue, I guess, but I'm sure there's some white in there. This is the C cover. Don't often show the variants, but that cover is done by the all-time great, legendary Walt Simonson. Love me some Walt Simonson. You don't know enough about Walt Simonson, you got a little homework to do. Superman Red and Blue has been a lot of fun. Obviously, it's a little stylized with just red, white, and blue in there. Fun stuff. They're going to be doing Wonder Woman Black and Gold here shortly. If you're a big Superman fan like I am, this book has some of the top talent in comics, like Mark Waid. You got to read anything from Mark Waid. The Flash wraps up your core titles for the week. This one harkening back to the Heroes in Crisis. Speaking of Tom King, Truth and Justice has Batwoman on the cover there, just in time for Pride Month. And Static, Season 1, number 1. Brings back Static Shock to the DCU, which is awesome. Pick up that Milestone one-shot from a couple of weeks ago. Pick up this week's Sonic Season 1. Really, really great to see those characters returning to comics. It's a really great week for all the independents. As I said, it's a pretty small week for the Marvel and DC guys, but great week for all the other guys. Norse Mythology 2, Issue 1. This is the second round of the Norse mythology stuff. You know we love us some Neil Gaiman. Anything Neil Gaiman around here. Always encouraging folks to have a Dark Horse book on their list, and this is a great place to start. I think Series 1 is only in hardcover if they've even collected it, but we should have all 6 issues on the site from Series 1, or just grab the first issue of Series 2, because it's awesome. Jupiter's Legacy number 1 is your first issue, gotta have it, Image book of the week. Everybody's checking this out on Netflix. Obviously, Jupiter's Legacy has been around for a little while. I think this is the 3rd or 4th incarnation of the book, but you don't need to have read the other stuff to get this one. If you were checking out the Netflix show, or if you haven't seen the show but you're curious about what it's about, pick up this week's Jupiter's Legacy, because anything from Mark Miller is worth checking out. And Radiant Black is your other Image book of the week, another one of the red hot books that Image is doing. If you're not following Radiant Black, Noctera, Geiger, Department of Truth, on and on and on and on I could go. Everybody should have at least one Image book on their list. Go to imagecomics.com and check out the huge range of awesome stuff that they do. Start this week with Radiant Black. Usagi Yojimbo is your IDW book of the week. Always talking up Usagi Yojimbo, one of the all-time legendary great characters of comics. Stan Sakai, one of the all-time legendary great creators of comics. Berserker is your Boom Studios book of the week. You guys love Berserker. This one doesn't need a whole lot of help from me. Sonya Versal is your Dynamite book of the week. Always talking up Dynamite and the great job they do with Red Sonja, Vampirella, Deja Thoris, all that kind of stuff. This one has all the Red Sonjas from all the Sonya verses, so that's fun. Seven Swords is my Aftershock book of the week. That's a first issue from a publisher you might not know too much about. If you don't have an Aftershock book on your list, pick up this first issue and check out the kind of cool stuff that they do. They're one of our many A publishers this week. Aftershock, AWA, producing Resistance by the all-time great J. Michael Straczynski, or Ablaze Comics with your Cimmerian. That's your Conan the Barbarian book of the week. And Archaia with Storyteller. You know we love us anything Jim Henson around here. These Storyteller books are a ton of fun. This is Trickster. They've done Giants and Ghosts, a whole bunch of other ones. Good stuff there. And last but definitely not least is the new printing of Heir to the Empire. They've got all the classic Star Wars novels coming back in new printings. This is the first part of the Thrawn trilogy. Going to be a whole lot of people talking about Admiral Thrawn as more Star Wars stuff rolls out. So if you only have one of the old printings and you don't know where it is, you can pick up a new printing. If you don't know who Admiral Thrawn is, you definitely need to get this book. There's a few different ones out this week, but I thought I'd show you this one because Timothy Zahn is one of the all-time most popular Star Wars authors, and we don't get an opportunity to talk too much about graphic-less novels, as I like to call them. And Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, along with Star Wars Adventures High Republic, are your all-ages book of the week. Always encourage you guys to have an all-ages book on your list, and, well, High Republic Adventures is a great place to start. Lots and lots of great books to check out. So go to black-cat-comics.com, click on Shop, click on New This Week, take a look at all the books, pick them up, read them, and then then you tune in on Saturday and we talk about them on Comic Shop Talk Live. That's all we got for you for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in a brand new show.